Hey all, so I just wanted to show you kind of all at once different ways that you can use lighting to affect the environment, as well as ways that make it easy to kind of push those environmental changes. So I just made kind of this demo document to show a few different techniques to show changes to the times of day, as well as possibly potential other, things you could add to an environment like rain or all kinds of things. So, zooming out, you can see I have this big gradient, and I have talked about using gradients to show a change of time in the jail file. In there, we have the sky, or the sky gradient, is moving left, or it's moving horizontally. Here we have one that's going vertically through the changes, and we also have the ground and the clouds changing based on what color the sky is, and those are done with shape tweens, which are here in the orange. The gradient is moving up and down through a classic tween. And as you can see, when the environment is warmer, the tree and ground are covered with kind of warmer colors to show the warmer lighting. During the day, they look pretty normal and typical, and as the sky gets darker and bluer, so do the ground as well as the rest of the environment. Now, as you can see, I mostly just let the clouds alone, as opposed to having them move across the sky, because this was just a simple demo, as well as the fact that moving them across the sky here proved to be a little bit tricky. I did try to move them with a shape tween as well as have the color change, and shape tweens just function a little weird. So if you are doing the sky in this manner and want to have the clouds, go across and also change color, that's something that you'll probably have to do in frame by frame, is just moving the clouds a bit and changing the color a little, which is a bit tedious. But as you can see, I did have the shape tween to get them to change the color, and then from there, I kept the color the same, but frame by frame, as you can see in this layer, I made them a bit bigger so they look a bit more stormier, as well as here we have a few different environmental effects. Aside from the clouds, we kind of have fire going on, as well as lightning and rain. So the rain, I just did different strokes, and I actually did them straight because it was easier to draw them straight, and then I did the transform tool on this layer. So if we go into the rain layer, and do a Control T, we have this skew tool. So just gonna move that there, where you can see I can, I can basically skew what's going on. I don't want to do that, so we're undoing that. Yeah, so, and then that's just animated on 2's, the rain kind of shifting a little. That looked a bit funky, a bit flashy, so yeah, just rain shifting a little, dragging it down, simple stuff. And the strokes are transparent, so I did use the alpha channel to do the strokes for the rain, as well as I made this glow around the fire is transparent. And you could actually, the lightning I kept pretty simple. That's just drawn in white, to make it really pop out. You could potentially put a glow around that as well with the alpha channels. But yeah, so those are just simple ways to show changes in time, changes in environment, different things you can do with the environment. And of course, the different things you do with the environment can impact the mood, can impact, when things happen. And actually, in the event it just says, like, in our simulation on the date of whenever something occurred, June 26th, I believe it is, on the day of June 26th, you got into a car accident, you stole some sunglasses. It doesn't necessarily say what time of day it occurred, but potentially showing time of day in maybe a future simulation or other things could potentially be really important. So that's why you want to get a handle on how to show that change effectively, how to make it look nice essentially, how to show maybe a change over a long period of time, as well as, and conditions as well might be important. For example, the conditions when the person got into the car crash scenario where, it was pretty clear out, it was getting toward, like, sunset, kind of the end of the day, maybe about, like, here, in terms of, like, time, and in terms of the atmosphere. But, of course, if the conditions were rainy, if there was lightning, or fire, or other things, or it was dark, and other things needed to be accounted for, if there are other factors or other things that you want to include into the scenario that perhaps make it more ambiguous, or perhaps those factors could be important, these are just ways to go about them. And how I animated the rain is also very similar to how, the static was animated, except you would use perhaps this vector line tool, and then just do, how we did the static was we did slashes, kind of, so it's just going across, but yeah, that's just a quick demo on how to show environments, how to show environmental changes. I think actually changing a bit the lighting and things of a scenario with, tweens and stuff are things that could be important and helpful, potentially.